Hi, welcome to the Afrocentric Woman. Today I'm going to be talking about how your ego is secure and securing it and keeping it safe and all that jazz. Now, for some reason, every time like I see this topic, like from the first from the first time I saw a mini clip going around, I just thought about that I thought about that Beyonce song "You Won't Break My Soul." It like comes into my head every time I think about this topic. Um But when it comes to your ego, okay, so you can refer to I did two videos on um, being, um, I did two videos on like being free from manipulation or being like non manipulate. Gosh, what am I trying to say? Putting yourself in a position where you won't be manipulated. That's what I'm trying to say. I did two videos on it, and so this is kind of along the same lines. Um, because I don't know, it's like, struggle bandits rise in prominence. They rise and they fall, and some of them croak and are 6 feet under. Many of them have definitely met a early demise, you know. Um, Thanks to the universe, many of them have met an early demise. But yeah, they come and they go, they rise and they fall. It's always a new struggle bandit on the rise. Anywho, the one that's currently, circulating around is giving out manipulation tips, which aren't really anything new. And definitely, I mean, I just think it's articulating kind of like what goes on in the community anyway. You know what I mean? It's just articulating it out in like bullet points. And so it can kind of rile people up and especially rile women up. Especially I think when some of these manipulation tactics hit home. So definitely refer to those two videos. And then as far as your ego is concerned, nobody can break your ego down. I have a video that I recorded maybe about maybe 2 years ago or a year and a half ago. It's called Early Devaluation. It's called Run. Oh, actually, the video is titled Run from Early Devaluation. And in that video, I gave you a few examples of guys attempting to devalue me very early in the dating relationship and me leaving and blocking them and getting rid of them very early as they dished out the devaluation was as early as I left. So you can also refer to that video as well. But I I very strongly believe in um leaving a situation where the man is attempting to devalue you very early on. Now, it could be something as small as I'll give you an example. There was this guy that I had my first and last date with him. Um he after okay, so after the date, maybe like that day or the day before. Now, keep in mind I'm still kind of working out the kinks and getting rid of some of my pick me ways, but I do remember texting him and saying, I had a great time, it's good meeting you. And, um, what did you think, or the date, or what did you think of something? And then I think he said something like, it was all right, or it was just something that was kind of like neutral to negative. And I was like, are about me or the date? And he was like, both. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, well, what's going on? He's like, well, I really, I don't know if I was talking to him on the phone or if this was, I think I may have been talking to him actually. I was talking. Yeah, I think you're really nice and cute and everything, but I just feel like you had a bunch of buildup on your teeth, and I just think that I don't really like your teeth, and I just think that I'm not really into people who have bad oral this or that. So yeah, so he was like talking about my teeth. And then afterwards, he reached out to me because it was the weirdest thing. Like, he wanted me to go to the movies with him and his family. Now, this guy is a textbook, uh, he's a textbook case of like a narc. And I pretty much knew that, like, from our date. I knew that. I knew that. The stuff he was telling me, you know how like narcs tell you these like traumatic stories about their life to like get you emotionally invested in them very quickly. He did that, and then he was trying to like get me further emotionally invested by like supposedly introducing me to his family. The thing about black men is they know how desperate black women are for marriage, and so they can kind of like string you along by like, dangling stuff and like, oh, meet my family, and you really think that it's going somewhere and it's not going anywhere. But anyway, really what I'm trying to point out is the whole teeth situation. So even after he said this stuff about my teeth, he was like, so are you coming to the movies with us? And I just blocked him. Like, I'm not finna to go to the movies with you. Like, if you don't like me, you don't like me. And my teeth are part of me. And so I'm not about to try to prove myself to you or try to convince you that my teeth are nice. Like, if you don't like my teeth, okay, somebody else will, and of course, since then, many people have. So what these guys do when they devalue you very early on is they want to see how you respond. Like, will you defend yourself? Will you stay there and try to make sense of it? Because some women are just stuck in confusion because, it's confusing. It is. And see, the thing about narcs is they like to keep you in confusion. When you are confused, you can't make good decisions. You can't make definitive decisions, and you can't really move anywhere. You can't leave, and you're kind of stuck when you're confused. So they like to keep you confused. Like they'll always be a gray area around the relationship, or a gray area, like how they will not definitively declare, like how they feel about you. There's always going to be like this kind of like uncertainty and confusion in the air. And so sometimes what happens is somebody that they'll be praising you and they'll be totally into you, and then they'll bring up something that they don't like or criticize you about, like, oh, well, you have almost everything I've ever wanted in a woman, but like, you can't cook, or I really, like everything about you, but like I wish I had a woman with natural hair and you have a wig on, and I don't know if I like the wig, or I don't like your lashes, or I wish you were 20 pounds lighter than what you are. And so women will be confused by this because they're like, he's taking me out on all these dates, he's calling me and he's texting me, but he's like unhappy with my weight. He thinks I'm 20 pounds heavier than what I should be. And so she'll be confused and she'll stay with him instead of releasing him. And I'm talking about really early, early, early on. Because when someone like is going to be attempting to quote break down your ego, that's an advanced state of being. And so what I'm dealing with is I'm dealing with the beginning of the situation. How does it start? And it starts very small like that. Um, there's a saying that we have, like when a guy is like really in love with you or really, really into you, it's like he loves you and your dirty draws. Okay. And so within that saying, there's a lot of significance within that saying. And that's like an old folk saying. Like that's a very old, old, old saying from the South. And what that means is like that man is just so smitten with you, like he doesn't see anything wrong with you. And to a degree, that is very true, especially in the beginning. When a man is truly smitten with you and like you are his type and he's really into you and he wants to impress you, you may have faults, but he really doesn't see them. He really doesn't notice them. And if there are any, he damn sure is not going to acknowledge them and bring attention to them because he's so enthralled with the goodness of you that the small stuff that's, the flaws that you have are so insignificant. They aren't worth bringing up. And also, when he truly cares about you, he's not going to want to hurt your feelings or hurt you in any way. When truly cares about you or truly likes you and wants to impress you, the last thing on his mind is trying to like stop the momentum of the relationship or somehow hurt you or confuse you or say something mean or ungentlemanlike to you. He will cherish you and he'll want to keep you safe, including your heart and your mind. He's not going to want to bring you stress. He'll help you. Like if you're like, hey, babe, I want to lose 20 pounds. Can you get me a gym membership? He'll probably say, yeah, sure, I can help you with that. But it's going to come from you. If he's smitten with you, he's not going to be like, oh, you need to lose 20 pounds. You see what I'm saying? So the way to protect your self-esteem, your sense of self-worth, and your ego is to eliminate the males that are narky and start to diminish, devalue, um, and demoralize you from the very onset. And I promise you, I think one of the things that kind of gets Black women tripped up is like Black women are usually on some type of like self discovery journey. Black women are usually into self development, accountability. Like Black women are overly accountable. They're even accountable for shit they have nothing to do with. Black women are accountable for other people's shit. They're so accountable for their shit. They're accountable for other people's shit. And so when a lot of times when Black women hear criticism, they take it to heart. Like you've seen it. Like you tell Black woman she can't cook, she's gonna go enroll in, a cordon bleu or whatever that, she's gonna go enroll in in the most expensive cooking class. If you tell her she's not feminine, she's gonna take 15 femininity courses. You tell her, she's uncooperative, she's going to, you know, learn how to be cooperative, learn how to be meek about whatever it is. Black women can sometimes take self-development to the extreme. And so I think that when these guys are narky and malignant and they're really being cruel, Black women take it as, well, maybe I need to look at myself. Maybe I need to change. Maybe I do need to improve in this area. Meanwhile, you have to realize what is the intent. Okay, the intent behind the criticism is to demoralize and devalue you. It is to knock you off your pedestal. When I was going through, side note, when I was going through these relationship cycles with struggle bandits, that's exactly what I said. That's exactly what I said. That's exactly what I noticed was happening. I didn't have all the language to, clearly articulate everything, but that's exactly what was happening. So I would get with a struggle bandit and I would have an extremely high self-esteem, very high, very, very, very high self-esteem, very confident in myself and very confident in my beauty and my intellect and all of that. And, that is what that confidence that I had is what would attract the struggle bandit to me. And then when he would get with me, my confidence would intimidate him and make him uneasy. And then he would have to try to humble me. And and this is something that happens on a one-on-one basis. You may have had experience with this, or you may have had experience with a woman A woman telling you that she's had that experience of somebody attempting to humble her, a male, a struggle bandit, wanting to humble her, wanting her to get off her high horse, knock her off her pedestal, and bring her down to size, make her quote unquote down to earth. Because the confidence is uneasy for someone who does not have a sense of self, which many of them don't have a sense of self, have no real purpose in life, um, lacks moral substance and things like that. Your confidence would be very off-putting and uncomfortable for them. So the best way to kind of kill that confidence is to start the devaluation process. That happens on a one-on-one basis, and we have observed as a community of Black women, we have observed the communal devaluation of all Black women with the negativity that is portrayed about Black women. Um, yeah, so we've seen it happen, and so it happens on a collective level, and it happens on a one-on-one basis. Um, when a guy is attempting to devalue you very early on, he wants to see how you are going to respond. This is very important to know because before a woman is ever hit physically, or shoved, it's very rarely out the blue. You do have instances of random violence. Um, what's coming to my mind is the young woman who went to go buy, a drink at the corner store. I believe she was in the Bronx. Somebody tried to talk to her. She didn't want to talk to him, and he tried to bite her face off. So you do have instances of random violence by struggle bandits, but a lot of times in these relationships, before it gets violent, before there's even yelling, there's this early devaluation because they want to see how far they can go, and they want to see how do you react. Do you try to explain yourself? Do you try to defend yourself? Do you stay and try to prove them wrong? Like, no, 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 I really am a good woman. Or no, 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 I am the best woman for you. No, 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 I am faithful. No, 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 I am ride or die. No, 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 don't go. I am, all the things. I am, more this. I am more that. I can do this. Oh no, that's not true. I'm gonna show you. And sometimes they'll give you these sad stories like, oh, every woman I've ever been with has um taken me for granted, or, been all about this or been all about that. And sometimes they'll make it about money, like, well, I just don't want somebody that wants me for my money. So what they're doing, what that is an invitation to show you require accept the invitation or you can decline the invitation. When they're talking about, oh, this woman used me for money, that woman used me for money, or they're bringing up like things from social media or from the media, oh, that person, oh, look at that, it's a gold digger, she's using that guy for his money. He's looking at you to see how you respond, right? So are you going to stick around and try to prove to him that you're not like those gold digging women? You don't require anything. You'll Netflix and chill with him. You'll walk in the park with him. You'll go to Starbucks with him. You don't require anything. You'll pay for him to go on a date. You'll give him money. You're going to show him that you're not a gold digger. So that all that is an invitation. And you can apply that to anything. Anything that they're trying to coerce you into, you have to understand how it is presented to you. And a lot of times it comes through like sly, kind of like underhanded insults sometimes. Um, and they just want to kind of see what you're going to do. Are you going to stay around? Because if you stay, to them, they thinking like, okay, well, I can go to the next level. I can continue down this path with her because she's still here and I've devalued her. I've already started my devaluation process and you're still here. My main guy that I'm with right now, he probably the one thing that gets on his nerve the most is I'm always late. And, my lateness has caused us, to get like bad seats at shows because we were late. You know, we've lost reservations, very annoying. And it is me, I am late. But honestly, this man has never criticized me ever. And even with the lateness, I'm the one that always brings it up. Like, I'm so sorry I'm late, babe. And he's just like, yeah, that is kind of, annoying. And I'm like, I know. It is annoying. And I know and I do better. I really have tried to do better about being late. But this man has never said anything negative about me. And I don't cook or clean. I don't. And he's never said anything negative to me ever. And any guy that I've dated like long term or like multiple times, like, like dating, like ongoing dating, they don't say anything negative about me. And that isn't to say I'm flawless, but it's to say that none of the flaws that I have um, trump their desire for me and their desire to make me feel cherished and to make me feel special and to make me feel loved and cared for. I mean, you see what I'm saying? So it's impossible for anybody when you master these skills of disengaging from early devaluation and sorting out males from men and understanding who is cherishing me, who values me, who's ready to make my life better, who's willing to try to do his best and give me his best every day, then you're safe. You are in the safe zone. No one's going to ruin your ego. No one's going to destroy you. No one's going to manipulate you because you will be unmanipulatable. You see what I'm saying? Because you're not looking for words. You're looking for actions. And you move on actions and you make your decisions based on actions. Not what he says he's going to do and then you just give him what he wants. You wait until he does what he says he's going to do and you get everything you want and then you make a decision of what you're going to do from there. But you're not making decisions based off of future promises. You're not making decisions today in the moment based off of future promises. Well, I'll pay you back next year. I'll pay you back next week. Just give me the money now. I will marry you, but go ahead and move in and like take care of me now. Like act like my wife now and I'll marry you one day down the line. You know, I'll, take you shopping and pay your bills next month once, you've proven that you are, a stable girlfriend, but go ahead and give me the benefits of like the girlfriend now today. See, we don't do that over here. See, we don't do that. When you are ready to have all of the things that I feel like a boyfriend should have, then you will get the girlfriend benefits. But you're not getting girlfriend benefits and I don't have boyfriend benefits. I need my benefits first. Okay. Smart, wise women collect up on the front end, not the back end. And why? Part of the reason why we do that is because we are protecting ourselves from being manipulated. You see that they're heavily invested in learning how to manipulate. But all of that can be neutralized by going off of actions and being patient. Building up your self-esteem, all of it works in harmony. Because when you are confident, you have a high sense of self-worth, you have a high self-esteem, you know your worth, you know why you're unique, you know why you're special, and you know that you are the only one who can provide the experience and the essence that you have within yourself. It doesn't matter if someone's prettier or this thinner or has more money or has more whatever. doesn't matter. You are still you. And it's like, if you want this particular unique experience, then you're going to do what I need over here. And that goes for everybody. Everybody has their own unique experience. And then he's going to decide if he wants to be over there or not. And if you want to be over here, then these are the things that are required. You going to do it or you not going to do it. If you do it, then you can be over here. If you ain't willing to do it, then tear your ass. Okay. So I say all that to say, be ye aware of the early devaluation and how its many forms can be manifested. Okay. And even something like standing you up is a test. It's taking the power out of the relationship and putting it and putting it in their hands. So if they stand you up and then you just allow them to just book another date with you, they already know that they can just walk all over you. They're just trying to find that out as quickly as possible. You see? They're trying to find that out as quickly as possible. That's not really like an early devaluation, but that's somewhat of a test. Just stand you up, ghost you, and then come up with some lame excuse afterwards. And sometimes they're doing it on purpose. Sometimes they're just juggling too much, women, but sometimes they do it on purpose. They will stand you up and on purpose have you somewhere looking and longing. There's like a psychological tactic with like having things are like open ended. So when you go on the date and you're waiting on him and you know you have all these questions, you want closure, you want to know, well, why did you stand me up, what happened, you know it's just so open ended. And it's a psychological like manipulation tactic to make you feel that way, build you up with all the anticipation for it, and just stand you up at the last minute. Now, if you just, without any hesitation or without any cost to him, just allow him to rebook it, then he knows that he's about to take you through the ringer. Okay, because he's kind of separating the women with a high self-esteem from the women with the low self-esteem. And he wants to hone in on the women who have a low self-esteem. And sometimes they'll say women who are traumatized or damaged or something like that. Now, you may be traumatized, but you may have your trauma in check. You know what I mean? Like you're healed from the trauma. And so if you have a good handle on it, it doesn't matter what your background is. It matters about how you show up today. It matters about how you show up today. Like how have you fortified yourself as a woman? How have you built up yourself? A man shouldn't be trying to knock you off your pedestal. And Lord knows my main guy has never tried to do that. He knows I'm incredibly self-absorbed. It's true, I am. He knows that I'm incredibly self-absorbed, I'm self-involved, and I'm very particular about a lot of stuff and have high expectations. And I take my time with the way I look, and I'm very meticulous about the way I carry myself and what I'm willing to do and what I'm not willing to do. And guess what? He loves it. And he would never ask me to change or to humble myself. Would never come out of his mouth, nor through any of his actions. Well, so long as he wants to still be around me, it better not. Because I mean, if that were to change, then I'd have to make some changes on my end. But I'm saying that to say that men who cherish you don't have the desire to humble you, to to knock you off your pedestal. They will want to elevate your pedestal. They will know you're special. You will be the special woman in their life that they cherish, that they adore, they can't get enough of, that they admire. You inspire them. They want to keep you safe. They love your high self-esteem. They love that you cherish yourself. They love that you take time to take care of yourself. They ask themselves, what can I do to help her? Not what can I do to hurt her? They ask, what can I do to add to her? They don't ask themselves, what can I get from her? What can I take from her? What can I steal from her? What can I swindle from her? They're coming with a generous heart, ready to give and to invest in you. If you prioritize those kinds of interactions, you are safe from manipulation and from someone trying to tear you down. If someone gives you an invitation to defend yourself, I think I have a video about that called Don't Argue About Your Standards. You can refer to that video. That's part of what I'm saying about protecting your ego, protecting your sense of self-worth. Don't argue about your standards, because this is the thing. The men who are qualified to meet your standards will meet them. They're not going to argue with you about your standards. If someone wants to engage with you arguing about your standards, like, who do you think you are to request a 5-star restaurant? Who do you think you are, to want that particular brand of champagne? Who do you think you are to expect for me to walk outside in the rain and like open up your door and escort you in this? Who do you think you are? See, they're telling you who they are, and they're telling you how they feel about you from the gate. So an indication that you are about to enter down a path of someone trying to tear you down is that they're going to start arguing, or they're going to start combating and questioning your standards. They're going to try to make you change them, make you more humble, bring you down to size, something that they can handle and manipulate. Because when you're on a pedestal, you're unmanipulatable. They can't, you're out of reach. They need to bring you down into the gutter to manipulate you. So if you just don't argue about your standards, just know that they're not the right one for you. Find someone who your standards are their lifestyle. They're happy to do those things and they can easily do them. Where they ask you how they can meet them, or maybe they can't do it today, but they have the desire to do it. But there's a difference between you wanting something, maybe something big. Maybe they're saving up for an engagement ring or something like that. You know what I mean? Maybe they can't do it today, but they see what you want and they're like, okay, great. I'm going to work on getting that for you. I'm going to work on getting that for you, or I'm going to do it. I believe you deserve this thing and I'm going to make it happen, is very different from who do you think you are to be asking me for XYZ. You see what I'm saying? Because some things that you might want may be aspirational for the both of you. But a man who's inspired by you is going to be inspired to probably try to make some more money or figure out a way to get it done. If he's, worth his weight in manhood, he's going to try to figure out a way to get whatever it is that you want and try to make it happen. Sincerely try to make it happen. Not future faking, but like really sincerely be trying to make it happen. And in the meantime, while he's making that happen, while he's working on that, all the standards that you, all the other standards that you have that are within his reach, he will continue to meet them. You see? So recognizing this early devaluation process, it will keep you safe. Um, you always want to go for someone who wants to give you their best. Give you their best, show you their best, do their best. Someone that speaks to you, they don't just speak to you any type of way. They clean up their language a little. Yeah, of course. Like, don't you clean up your language for royalty? Don't you sit up a little bit straighter? Don't you try to do your best? Well, you should have that. Like, they should have that feeling about you that they really try to do their best and give you their best. Talk with you with care and intention, with thoughts behind the words. They don't just let anything fly out of their mouth, being vulgar or rude or off-putting. But that they're like, oh, this is my like delicate woman. And then when I interact with her, I interact with her like this, not like she's my homeboy from down the road. You see what I mean? Keep that energy going. You never want them to just slip into, I just say whatever, and do whatever. Like, this is not that kind of party. Fallen angels. Hmm. Oh, well, I'm so glad y'all are enjoying a little bit of wine while you're on the live stream. I'm probably gonna have a glass of Pinot Grigio later. Um, that's what I'm thinking I'm gonna do. There's a really nice brand at Whole Foods that I like, but I forgot the name of the brand. But they have a really good Pinot Grigio at Whole Foods. I think it's like a Whole Foods brand. But yeah, that's what I wanted to come on here to talk about with y'all today, was just different strategies that you can implement to protect your sense of self-worth, your ego. The ego is the sense of self. The ego is the sense of self. And a healthy ego, a healthy ego is an ego that can be self-expressive, um, and that can communicate, and that it has a sense of purpose in the world, and has a sense of belonging, a sense of communion, a sense of well-being, and has an attitude of do no harm. You're here on earth to live your best life, and you don't have the intention of harming anyone in the process. And you also are not willing to be harmed by anyone in the process. That's a healthy ego, in my humble opinion. In my opinion, that's how I would describe a healthy ego. And um yeah, some people might want to try to break it down, and they have their reasons, they have their motives. You can be manipulated if if you're broken down. You can be used. You'll stick around and you'll tolerate abuse. You will endure hardship. Um, you will take care of a grown ass man when you don't have a good sense of self and don't recognize who you are as a woman, and you don't know your value. Then you might, take care of a grown ass man, and you might tolerate his shenanigans. You know what I was thinking about the other day too, ladies? I would say, like, because I'm like a pay as you go type of girl, I don't ever like get in too much in the red with guys because I just believe in like constantly pay as you go. Like I just don't believe in I don't know. I'm just like if I'm giving energy, you got to be given to, you know? So that's what I mean when I say pay as you go. So I can't really get too much in the red, but I will say that I've seen some hints of manipulation, even trying to pop up on my end with a few kind of different situations. And you know what I when I've just kind of evaluated how did this get to this level? Like how did, this get to this point? Um, what I can say is that I didn't really, I didn't really have an agenda and I really didn't have exactly what it is that I'm trying to do figured out before I started engaging with the situation. Um, or there was something that I really, really wanted it to be, or there, like, I wanted to go like this way. And so I kind of put all that on the table, like, this is the way it needs to go, and this is what I need, and not really giving very much time and space in between, like, the next step and like the agreement upon those things. And so then it kind of just snowballed and it really wasn't what it was. So in retrospect, I'm just like, you know what? I know what to do. I know that having an agenda and being purpose driven in every single interaction and relationship and knowing exactly what it is that you're trying to get or to achieve is important so that you don't get lost in the sauce and you don't get lost in someone else's, agenda. That you have an agenda. I mean, of course they're going to have an agenda too, but then the question is, well, do the two agendas align with one another? You know what I mean? Because it's like if they have an agenda and you really hadn't sat down and thought of one, well, you're just going to default to their agenda. You see what I mean? You're going to just default to theirs because you don't have one. So, creating an agenda is very important, and keeping it top of mind, if you have to write it down, if you have to reflect on it every so often, if you need to create a vision board about your agenda, if you need to have a bullet point list of your agenda, a synopsis of your agenda, whatever you need to do to solidify it in your mind, then do that so that you don't get off course, because that's how you can get caught up in somebody's manipulation is when you don't have a clear agenda and your agenda, you get swept up into theirs, and then before you know it, you're going down a path that you did not intend to go down, or you're caught up in some BS that you just didn't really want to be in, or some things that were supposed to be like this are really like that. That's something that I discovered about myself recently. That's something that I discovered recently, that I have to kind of go back to the drawing board and be very clear about my agenda and give some. I know the other thing was just give some space and time, because sometimes when things are time sensitive, um, or there's going to be an immediate benefit that they can get right now for something that they're promising in the future, give it time. Give it time for it to sink in, and really marinate, and then give them an opportunity to demonstrate what it is that they're saying, to make sure that they're really serious about it. So it's not like, hey, I need these things. And they're like, okay, yeah, 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 that's fine. Let's do it. And you're like, okay. But there's really not enough time and space in between, you know, that present moment to really validate that what they're saying is true. You see what I mean? So, yeah, that's my like most recent personal experience. And I thought it was really hilarious. I mean, I kind of had to laugh. I kind of had to laugh at myself a little bit. I really did. Because I am literally like the queen of like you ain't finsta. You ain't finsta manipulate me. You know what I mean? Like I'm the queen of that. I'm seriously. I smell BS from a mile away. Like I'm just not the one. I'm literally not the one. But I got caught up in some manipulative type of stuff. I really did. And for those particular reasons that I just told you. And so that's what you called very advanced. It's very advanced manipulation. I think it's advanced manipulation. And I think that also I really just wanted it to be a certain way. And so I think I was kind of more malleable and just kind of like, see no evil, hear no evil. It's probably bullshit, but I don't want to believe that. So I'm just going to believe what I want to believe. So a little bit of like purposeful ignorance. So don't do that. Don't do like me. Be sober, be clear minded, and take your time. Give time and space for everything so that it can be validated. If it's true, then there's going to be action to back it up over time. There's going to be action to back it up. So you won't even have to work. You won't even have to like be confused about it because you'll know, you know what I mean, that it is underway, that it is happening, and you can see the fruits, you can see the results that it is true. So, that's what I wanted to share with you ladies about being safe out here in these streets. Definitely share in the comment section, what you do, I guess, to keep your self-esteem high, what you do to stay on your pedestal, to stay elevated, in any ways that you are able to sniff out anybody who is trying to quote unquote humble you or take you down to earth. Yeah, let me know. And if you have not yet subscribed, go on and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Like the video. Share the video. Thanks so much for tuning in, y'all, and we'll talk soon. Peace and love. Bye.